The last time I saw this car, the Volvo ES90, I was in a studio in Sweden, and now I'm in Monaco. Because where better to test out Volvo's take on modern luxury than here, the home of super yachts, supercars and super egos. So this is my first time behind the wheel, and in this video I'm going to discover if all that processing power and Scandi cool delivers an experience that's less Formula One and more first class. Can the calm cut it in the chaos of Monaco? So Volvo reckons the ES90 is in a class of its own. If only I had £1 for every time a car maker has told me that over the years. Anyway, they say it's part sedan, saloon to you and I, part fastback, part SUV, which basically means it's long and it's low, it's got a slightly raised ride height and a hatch style boot. So this is the first time I've actually seen it outside the studio, and my take looks very executive, doesn't it? And rather chunky. And a little bit Polestar 4, but with a rear window. I'll be honest, I really like how it looks. I think it's gorgeous. I'm not actually sure if big, sexy saloons like this still sell in massive numbers. But yeah, if I was in the market for one, this would be one that I'd go for. And you know what? We've reached peak SUV, haven't we? I am so over them now. So it's nice to see something a little bit different. The ES90 has that classic Volvo restraint, doesn't it? But there is a real presence to it. Those Thor's hammer headlights, the sweeping roofline, it all just works. But do you spot that little London taxi-style bump above the windscreen? That is LiDAR. Today it supercharges the driver assistance tech, but soon it will unlock level 2 autonomy hands-off driving. Volvo didn't disguise it in the grille or the bumper, as they reckon that is a more effective place for it to be. You know, Volvo, safety and all that. Do love those rear lights. But standing here looking at the rear end just makes me really want to see an estate version of this car. Wouldn't that be great? Because if Volvo does anything very well, it's a sexy estate, isn't it? You know what? I truly think that this makes rivals like the BMW i5 and the Mercedes EQE seem like the cars with the good personalities. It's a thing of beauty. Chef's kiss to you all in Volvo design for this. It's lovely. But as always, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and don't hold back, because that wouldn't be like you. DC charging is really quick. It's got 800 volt architecture. So DC charging on this is 300 kilowatts. That goes up to 350 kilowatts for the dual version. And if you can find a fast enough charger, that means it will go from 10 to 80% in about 20 minutes. Volvo reckons you can add up to 186 miles of range in just 10 minutes, which when you think about it is an entire battery top up for some cars. Being a Volvo, it gets a heat pump across the range and it's capable of vehicle to load. Step inside and it's so nice in here. So pared back and understated and beautifully designed, and it actually reminds me quite a lot of the Polestar. Or is it the Polestars that remind me of the Volvo? I don't know, but anyway, they're very similar vibes, aren't they? Everything in here is beautiful and feels beautiful to touch, and just makes me think that I would really like the Volvo design team to do the whole interior design on my house, please. So there are two specs. This is, of course, the more expensive Ultra. Get lots of nice stuff like this, including the thing that I would also like in my house, massaging seats, which are utterly brilliant. Honestly, I've been very lucky in this job to try a lot of cars with massaging seats. These are so good. Just like the rest of it, the tech also does the job really well, but it's pared back. So you do have this really big central screen, which uses a Google operating system. The benefit of that is it's really intuitive and simple to use. So you've got all your infotainment information here. You've got a various group of widgets there, which are the things that you use a lot. And along here are the fixed controls for the climate control, things like the, you know, the car functions. We've got your apps, and then you can go back into home. The one thing I'll say that irritates me slightly is that in order to change the height and reach the steering wheel in the mirrors, you do have to go in to the system to do that. And I wish there were some manual buttons. It does irritate me a little bit doing that. But while I'm here, look, how lovely is that little volume control? They've taken away with one hand, but they've given us that. That makes me incredibly happy. It's beautiful. It's like a piece of jewellery. Look, powering all this, and where the ES90 really flexes, are two NVIDIA chips. Now, they're obviously the latest must-have thing in cars these days. So often now we're being told about the chips that are powering the car. 508 trillion operations a second. So it's basically the brain that runs absolutely everything, from your driver assistance to the safety systems to the infotainment. And increasingly, car makers are telling us about the chips that they're using in their cars, because it is so important to the overall feel and drive of modern day electric cars. And because, of course, it's designed to be updated, it means you're always going to be running the latest software, the latest tech. I think what I love most about this interior is the fact that it just isn't trying so hard. Volvo really nailed the less is more. But yes, it's practical too. You've got decent sized door bins, you've got a couple of good sized cup holders, wireless charging, good sized glove box, which annoyingly, again, you've got to access from the menus. To do that, just clicks a button. And a big storage compartment there. Yeah, it's a nice place to be. I think it's fair to say that rear space is generous. That seat is set for Manos, who is 6'2", and look, look at my little legs. I can hardly touch it. Yeah, you could carry absolutely big door passengers in here, no problems at all. The lovely feeling of lightness and airiness is helped by the pano roof, which is gorgeous and which goes from clear to shaded at the touch of a button. The interior as well really helps. It's a synthetic leather, plastic, of course. It's made from recycled plastics. It actually feels really nice. And then I love the light ash trim that you get on this particular version. You've got two Isofix child seat points on the outer seats, and the child locks are power operated, and this central armrest, oh, doesn't want me to do it. It's doing it for me. Oh, sorry. That was working like that. Got a little storage compartment, handy little tray. Very nice cup holders in there. The whole vibe in here is just really super luxurious. And while I'm here, I want to give a shout out to the Bowers & Wilkins sound system that you get in the Ultra, which isn't so much a sound system as basically a private gig on wheels. You've got 25 speakers, 1,600 watts. The clarity is unbelievable. It even has a mode called Abbey Road Studios. So yes, you can, you know, pretend you're in the famous Abbey Road Studios and play around with the sound so you get it just how you like it. The description was filled with phrases like continuum cones and double dome tweeters, which mean nothing to me, but if you're into your music, you'll know exactly what all that is doing. All I know is that it sounds fabulous. The boot, as you would expect, is big, really big. It's also really high. Look, this comes up to my waistline, but also look, ta-da! There is still a slight load lit though that you're going to have to get things over. In terms of space, 468 litres, so it's a bit bigger than the boot on the Mercedes EQE, not quite as big as the boot on the BMW i5. The seats do fold down. It almost doubles the load space when you do that, although they don't fold completely flat. But I do think it's this hatch style opening that's the winner for me, because it makes the space pretty usable. It's good. What? Why does I like? Yeah. Put Ginny in it. We'll get 3 versions of this car in the UK. First up is the entry-level rear-wheel drive version, powered by an 88 kilowatt-hour battery. As always, that is usable capacity. Volvo promises this will be good for 400 miles. It gets a 333 horsepower motor and a 6.9 seconds 0 to 60 time. As for the twin motor, well, that gets a larger 102 kilowatt-hour battery, along with 435 miles of range, with 449 horsepower and a 5.5 second 0 to 62 time, whilst the twin motor performance has got the same battery, but a whopping 680 horsepower. knocking 1.5 seconds off that acceleration time. So this is the single motor extended range version. It will be the first one to land in the UK. And Volvo reckons this will be the big seller. It's the one business buyers will go for. I'm going to start this driving section by saying I'm really not on the ideal roads for this car. We've ended up on some very, very beautiful mountain roads with tight little hairpin bends, and they're single track, and they would suit a car like the Renault 5 down to a T. This is not its natural habitat, so I'm going to caveat that by this. Where this car felt much more at home was on the motorway leg that I've just done from Nice down to Monaco. It absolutely loved that. Anyway, I'm going to persevere because there's loads of traffic on the motorway. Now, of course, this isn't the punchiest in the range, but you do still get an instant hit of acceleration when you put your foot down. There's a really lovely planted feeling at any speed. And the power delivery is very smooth, progressive. When you need it, it's right there for overtaking or pulling out of a junction. What you don't get, which I think is a good thing, is that big thump of power that pushes you back in your seat. It just feels more effortless than that and more restrained. And honestly, I know there are more powerful versions coming down the line, but I'm not sure you'd need more than this. So the ride is lovely. The Ultra models get a dual chamber air suspension and active chassis, and it's constantly adapting to the road, glides over bumps. It does make even the roughest roads feel like freshly laid tarmac. The roads are pretty good here. Well, this one is actually not as good as the ones I was on earlier, and it still feels great. I'd love to try it on the potholes back in the UK. But you know, I think it genuinely feels wafty and expensive and luxurious. I actually can't think of another Volvo that rides quite as nicely as this one does. So all versions get a one pedal driving system, which I'm making good use of on these roads. No paddles to control it as you get in some cars. There's a button on the screen, you just turn it on and off, and you can set different levels, and you can do full one pedal driving with it. Now, when you're on the move in this, particularly in the motorway, it's hard to believe that it's such a big, heavy, large car. On tighter roads like this, I am feeling the weight and the size. But again, actually, the steering is quite nice. It's got quite a bit of feel to it, and I'm quite enjoying these corners. One thing that this has got, which I'm obviously not going to make use of here on these roads, is a full Tesla style driver assistance package. If you pull down on the gear selector on the right, it engages it for you. For the most part, it works really well. The one thing I don't love quite as much is the steering inputs. I just think they're a little bit jerky, and I think both Tesla and BMW systems are a bit smoother. They just do it a bit better. Interestingly, for me, the take that I've got is how calm and relaxing this is, which really suits me, particularly at the end of what's been a really busy week. It's a car you could drive all day knowing you'll come out the other end just as fresh as when you started the journey. And I guess that's its whole point. Given that ungainly LiDAR bump and plans for future level 2 self-driving, you'd expect the assisted driver features to be spot on, but they're not. Pilot assist, which is activated by pulling the drive selector, is a bit sluggish when changing lanes. And the speed limit recognition, well, that got it wrong more than once during my time in the car, regularly picking up limits from nearby roads whilst I was on the motorway. And the lane keeping assist, it does feel a bit jerky and overly harsh when it thinks you need a bit of correcting. But credit where it's due. I did like curb speed assist, which automatically eases off the accelerator as you corner and then smoothly picks up the pace back on the way out. It's a small thing, but it works really nicely. As for the prices, well, they start at £70,000 for the single motor extended range. If you go Ultra, that will add an extra £10,000 on top of that. The dual motor is £83,000, rising to around £88,000 for the top spec performance model. That pricing brings it right in line with cars like the Mercedes EQE and the BMW i5, but I just think this has a coolness about it. It's not quite as showy as those cars, but it does fit in here, doesn't it, in Monaco? Like the big yachts around it, it is a comfortable, luxurious cruiser. So nice to drive, in fact, that I'm not sure I want to fly back to the UK. I'd rather drive in this. Let me go and find that nice lady from Volvo. Can I drive back in it?